at 12 minutes past 8 o'clock. As we move through the second week of the school holidays, the mounting costs of children being off school will be challenging many families across the city, with reports in the news of families struggling with childcare costs as well as the costs attached to keeping children busy. What about when even putting a meal on the table stretches finances? Well, charity City Harvest are in their 10th year of running, taking surplus food that would otherwise be wasted and sharing it to those in need. And joining me now to tell us more is their CEO, Sarah Calcutt. Sarah, thanks so much for joining us this morning. In a way, it's sad that I'm having this conversation with you, but it is a reality, isn't it?
It is really sad. People give me a really strange look when I say, look, my job shouldn't exist. It's an absolute tragedy, but how brilliant that we have had 10 years of City Harvest really making a difference. And the holidays is, you've just said it's a very challenging time of year for a lot of families. And there are some absolutely extraordinary projects out there. They gear up in the holidays. I've been having a chat with different groups, and one of my lovely team has been doing some homework for me. And there's lovely people. I was told about a lady called Kim, who's incredible. She wants to give more detail, but she's working 13 hours a day to make sure that she's providing a wonderful programme for children this holiday. Yeah, there's some extraordinary projects out there.
And why are we in this situation?
It's a real shame, isn't it? We're talking about cost of living. What it's really coming down to, food is still 24% more expensive than it was 2 years ago, and everything else, of course, is still more expensive. And there's just this massive gap between income in households, and particularly low-income households. They've been so very badly hit with everything that they need to turn the lights on, cook a meal, find nutritious food. It's all increasingly out of reach, they're finding. And so these projects, they're not just for those that are eligible for free school meal. The projects are also there available for those on low income, because it guarantees that their children will have a really nice breakfast when they arrive. There'll be a healthy mid-morning snack, maybe some fruit, and then there'll be a very healthy lunch. And for a lot of the projects that my team work with, they're also sending really healthy food home as well. So the family also has some benefit.
So let's talk about how it's distributed, because with this level of need, that means that's a lot of work to get things out to people.
Yes, I mean, from City Harvest as a whole, we are, I have a team of just over 60. We have 3 sites now, so we're in Acton, and we're in Wandsworth, and we're in Leighton. And we've got a fleet of vans, and basically we have this utterly amazing group of volunteers. We had 30,000 hours of volunteer time last year who come and they sort through all the donated food and pack it into cases. And every project that we support will give us a load guide. So in an ideal world, we need this much fruit and this much veg. We need this much dairy and pantry and whatever it might be. And as much as we possibly can, our incredible food team will gather up the required volumes across their 500 food donors, who are equally incredible. And this is all sorted and then delivered out by my teams. Each driver has a van with a name on it, and those that know City Harvest know that our vans are really individual. We've got Vandy Murray, sponsored by the Wimbledon Foundation. We've got one sponsored by Rabobank. They've all got names. They all have a dedicated driver, and that amazing dedicated driver knows everybody in all the groups that we're supporting. So they know how to, in the holidays, automatically this thing gears up. It's incredible. It's such a good thing to be part of.
An amazing thing, an amazing amount of work, as you say, from your team. But I know we've got a new government, but I suppose the challenge is always, what are they doing to ensure that this gets better?
I think we have a government who have sat there for quite a while with a team in shadow roles, really thinking about how this can work better. There are you've got a lot of very talented people who are now sitting in ministerial roles, and there's it's the best prepared for a ministerial role anybody's ever going to be, isn't it? Frankly, if they've been sitting there in the wings for a while, going when we're in. So I think we got to give them a chance. There's got to be that first 100 days of settling in. I've been to a couple of events, met particularly with lovely people like Steve Reed and Daniel Zeitner, who were in DEFRA, because that's the food agenda, which is so important to us. And there's they're listening. Everybody is in listening and learning mode, which is really encouraging. There are no assumptions. There is no, we know better, we're going to plough in this direction. So everybody is in listening and learning mode. There's another really big piece of work that I'm involved in called the Commission into the Future of Food Banks. And I'm one of the commissioners. This is being run by Harper Adams University. Mm-hmm. And that also is going to feed information into government. You've also got a group of, so the chief execs of City Harvest with Felix and Fair Share and the bread and butter thing in Manchester. We sit down regularly, and we've been working with DEFRA on a programme that's all about drawing food in from farm gates. There's lots of linkages within lots of departments, and so there's a lot of information flowing both ways at the moment. Well, so no instant fix, but there's definitely something coming.
Well, that's good news to hear. Just your thoughts on food waste. We hear a lot about this, not only from the individuals, and I mean, I'm talking to you, I'm thinking, gosh, I need to look again in my cupboards and all of that kind of stuff, but more broadly in terms of the big supermarkets, the big producers. What's your take on it? Well,
before I came to City Harvest, I had 30 years in a commercial food and farming career. So I'm a farmer's daughter. I live on a farm. I'm very fortunate. And there is inevitable waste within a food chain. If you make pizzas, one day the nozzle that spits the mushrooms out on the top will get blocked, and then that pizza doesn't meet what the customer wants. Right. That becomes waste. It needs to have a home. What we need to ensure is that all organisations within the food chain has it right at the top of the list, going, if I can't sell it, where should it go? Because at the moment there is, we'll send it into anaerobic digestion. We'll send it into energy production because, that's okay because that's a green energy source, which indeed it's better than sticking it in landfill, but it's not better than putting it in somebody's tummy. And that's the bit that we really need to do now. And personally, I'm never in that. I don't think that the first resort is going to be the stick approach. I don't think we should be punishing people. We shouldn't make it expensive or difficult for food organisations to go, right, the best decision is finding a good redistributor. Hello, City Harvest, have my pizza. What we need is an incentive. It needs to be put in place so that, if there's lost profit, then you get tax rebate. There needs to be something that makes it the golden best first choice. Because then there is money for that business to invest in their systems to make sure the food is released quickly. That side of it. And then from a domestic and from a food service perspective, it's absolutely about planning, isn't it? You and I both know if we write a shopping list and stick to it, it's a much better outcome at the end of the week,
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Real basic nuts and bolts stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I know that you, as an organisation, often are on the hunt for volunteers. Is that still the case?
Always, always, always. Always. So I've been with City Harvest 2 years. One of the most joyful things that I've been part of is bringing on board a couple of incredibly talented people into our team. And we actually have our greatest volume of food. I mean, in June, we shared 1.31 million meals worth of food.
Gosh.
Which is incredible. 1 week we did 398,000 meals worth of food.
Gosh.
Now that requires a lot of people to come and help us sort it, because this is all donated and it is all food that wasn't going to be sold. There is always a degree of grading out. We never require perfection. We don't need it packed and looking fabulous. Just give us. We had a cubic metre of radish arrive this week. That takes some sorting. They're gorgeous, though.
I'm sure they are.
Fresh, delicious, and fantastic. It's quite an intimidating volume, but over on it, right, buckets, I could do this. It was wonderful. And that's what the volunteers bring. And we have great music on, and there's a great atmosphere, and it's lovely. I love being down in the warehouse with our volunteers. But yes, please, on our website, cityharvest.org.uk, there are there's the toolbar on the top, like all good websites, and there's one there that talks about volunteering, and you can select your location. So if you are in East End of the city, then please select Spitalfields Market. The Spitalfield, it's inside the wholesale market. You actually get inside into a place that actually you can't go as a member of the public. But phenomenal range of fruit and veg that come through there, and there's such a lovely team working over there. Always a good laugh. And again, putting food from the market that would have gone into recycling directly into the projects, these wonderful community groups that need it. And then if you are in anywhere else in London, also you've got great transport links in London. We're so lucky.
Yes.
Come over to Axe and work in the warehouse there. And then from probably middle September, we'll also have a site inside New Covent Garden Market at 9 Elms. And so people would be able to come volunteer there and help us. And then from obviously 9 Elms, we'll then be delivering out into that community too as we extend.
Always inspirational. Thank you ever so much for joining us this morning,
me.
Sarah. Lovely to speak to you. You can find out more about the work of City Harvest, the work that they do, but also if you're interested in volunteering for them. I'm very tempted, I have to say. Done on a little whatever jacket, and off I go carrying some fruit and veg. It's a dream come true. In fact, I am definitely going to do it. So if you see someone rock up, you'll be like, oh. Anyway, cityharvest.org.uk. That's cityharvest.org.uk.